3, 2, 1. You are live, sir. Travis Bagent.
Gary Roberts.
What's up, dude?
What's up, stranger? How you doing?
I mean, dude, it's been a long time. Are we still friends?
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing like, dude, you're like doing social media with other people.
Really?
Yeah, you and Paul Italia posting a lot of clips. I'm
Oh,
jealous.
I did go to Paul. I went to Paulie's house and he kept putting the clips on. So I didn't know what he was doing. I left. All of a sudden, he done started his own YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay, so man, it's been like 6 months.
You and Artem.
6 months, bro.
Is that how long it's been?
That's when I looked. The last clip. I feel like I feel like I retired you and Barry Bourne.
You did, and yourself.
No, dude. I've been going.
Are you retired?
I'm officially almost moved.
Oh, okay. Well, that's right.
I am.
You said you were moving. I thought you retired.
No, I'm 2 days away from being officially in the new. Literally, I'm gonna arrive in Oregon, and then the next day get on an airplane to come to your tournament. Speaking of, I'm not getting there till I'm not landing in what's IAD? Which airport's that?
Washington Dulles.
Washington Dulles. I don't even land till 10 p.m. Friday night. That's the best I could do.
Are you coming to Tyson's game at noontime on Saturday?
Of course, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I don't know. I believe we are directly competing with John Brzenk.
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, call him up. Tell him to get off of there. Tell him to join us.
I tried that before. John Brzenk, dude, he's doing exactly what you should have done.
Johnny, I ain't got Johnny's star power now. I ain't got that now. John's a different.
What do you mean? I ran the numbers. Your first 2 weeks of posting videos were as hot. When you first launched your channel.
John Brzenk is super hot, dude. John Brzenk is super hot.
I know, but when you first posted your channel, it was hot.
I had Artem with me, man. I was rolling. In the back of that RV, I'd already have 200,000 subscribers.
John Brzenk ended a stream 6 months ago. Did he not do
it? Nice. Let's bring them all over here then.
Okay. So, dude, man, I miss doing podcasts with you, bro.
I can tell.
Why?
Because I haven't heard from you in 6 months. Yeah, you must be just dying.
I mean, I feel like I reached out to you. I don't know. Someone says in the chat, with all due respect, Gary is special needs. They think
Gary
I'm special. I'm special needs.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that you're like super special, but you're in that realm. You're in that realm.
Okay, so man, is it my understanding? I believe when Michael Todd and Devin Laird were in Dubai, we weren't doing podcasts. I haven't gotten your feedback on anything arm wrestling related from that event till now. Do you know how much has happened since then?
Not very much. Not very much has happened since then. It's been a pretty weak 6 months.
Wall is still dead.
Oh, that's not funny, man. That's not funny. We needed that.
The conversation pops up every once in a while. I feel like I called it. I know my social media. Devin Laird was on record saying they got something in the works. Big, Steve Kaplan. I think Cobra said something. Uncle John said something. It's like, if you have something in the works, are you not working your social media, building up? I mean, come on.
Well, obviously, I don't know what rock you've been under here in your RV, but there's a new way of promoting arm wrestling tournament.
Oh,
You
couldn't have
don't
been a better
say nothing.
segue.
You don't say anything, and you just wait for it to happen. And that's what they did in Orlando just last week.
I don't know. Of course, you didn't catch my show, but somebody by the name of Kyle Depew,
I know Kyle.
he tried to tell me that was their entire marketing strategy. Don't say nothing. Get Marvin Cohen involved so they don't have anyone show up because they didn't have time to run a tournament. And I was like, what? What are you saying? You like the way that tournament was promoted?
Are you at, no, I am absolutely bewildered that I am absolutely, I am searching and searching and searching for some sort of hypothesis so that I could defend anybody that was involved in that event. But the fact is that I can't figure it out because it does seem that it was above board.
Above board, meaning it seemed 100% legit.
Yeah, however, legit in the fact that people are being compensated and they're receiving, the checks and all that stuff, even though it's a very unorthodox way to do things and it's never been done before. And you add in the fact that the person that wants to do the thing that's never been done before has a shaky track record on doing some things above board at times. And the fact that now the new norm is that there's a big money tournament, very little advertising. You go there and you fill out your W-9 after you win and you receive your checks in the mail.
Wait. You're saying this cannot be the new norm.
Well, not the new norm, but it's the new norm when it comes to the biggest money event in the country that just just happened and is supposed to happen again.
Okay.
And now the next
time out. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Listen, let's nuance this out a little bit. You were there, you have a story, and I can't wait to get it. But let's go back a little bit. Please. I went on record and I was saying, hey man, I have some experience with Marvin Cohen. And it's like everyone I met throughout the history of arm wrestling from my time seemed to have some sort of connection with Marvin Cohen, and they had some sort of story. And a lot of them were like, I don't want to, if Marvin is doing the real thing here, then I'd like to keep a positive light. But I went on record saying, hey man, last thing I remember was he had like that Vegas event basically taken from him and given to Dave Devoto and John Bergeson, like at the 2004 West Coast Pro-Am. Like I witnessed that. You were there. I'm not sure if you witnessed that. Anyways, I was saying like, I don't like how this tournament's being promoted. Here's what I remember about Marvin. But I went through this whole show not realizing the fact, and I believe you told me there was an NFL event in the last couple of years, and I totally forgot about that. That perhaps changes it's like, okay, you're as good as the last thing you've done. And I was like, I don't know what Marvin's done lately, but I remember this. So Marvin went on Uncle John's show and he's like, hey man, I spent a couple $1 million on arm wrestling with football players. And I was like, I remember Travis talked about it, but I never got the story. Is it true? Did Marvin put on some awesome NFL events?
Marvin had a investor invest what I believe is about $2.6 million into a NBC NFL arm wrestling production. We actually spent $2.2 million. And we got really close in that the last 400 grand come up missing. And some of the film guys and some of the bills at the MGM Grand didn't get paid for at the end. But it was a huge production.
You're telling me, okay, so I just YouTubed NFL arm wrestling, NBC. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. Where's the social media of this event that took place? $2 million.
There wasn't much social media, but listen,
What? What?
that thing actually happened, though. It really did happen. I mean, it played on NBC.
It did play on NBC. Where are the clips?
I mean,
Why
I don't
can't
know
I
why you can't find it. NFL or no, pro football arm wrestling. Put in that. Put in pro football arm wrestling. That's what it was.
So you're saying it was on television?
Oh yeah, 2 or 3 episodes. It was pretty good too, actually.
Why when this whole Mr. Olympia thing was being talked about, did this not come up? NFL
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because listen, you can't get by with any of the stuff that Marvin does with any sort of rational explanation. If you indeed had the money, you would definitely do a better job at producing, the arm wrestling part of it. But the truth is that they didn't have anything. They didn't have any awards. They didn't have any scales. They didn't have anything except guys that could do the work that were very scared about doing the work before they got paid. And so it was really awkward and strange. But on the flip side, it was a lot of fun from my standpoint because the risk was so low. If I would have been getting paid the big dollars, I would have been more worried. But because I was only making a little bit of money, it wasn't really a big deal to me.
Marvin Cohen said on Uncle John's show, he said like somebody made like 90 grand off that event. Were you part of that? Did you make a bunch of money?
No. I got my usual rate, which is $1,500 a day plus travel and hotel. And I actually worked for Scott Wynn to try to run the live arm wrestling portion, which I went there because Scott's my boy. And I knew that Scott was going to be under some pressure in the way that he was trying to staff this event, even though in the back of Scott's mind, he wasn't 100% sure about how it was going to turn out either.
Okay, so I hope you don't take offense to this. I feel like you're a perfect person to talk to because you and Marvin seem to have something in common that you always find a way to find good sponsors. However, when you get a good sponsor,
yeah, but you can't.
You put on.
Please, God, please listen. My finding good sponsors is me taking sponsor money and putting in my pocket, and finding $1,000 sponsors to try to have a little bit of prize money. I have never in my life been able to raise $2 million. Never. So.
But my point is, when you do get money, most of the times you're able to deliver an awesome product. Now, what I want to know is, was Olympia an awesome product for the money spent?
No, it was the worst. It was the absolute worst product and the worst planning and the worst producing and the worst directing and the worst mismanagement of funds in the history of mankind.
So Marvin has this way to get.
It all started and can sum it up right now. Imagine that you, Gary, are in charge of producing that arm wrestling event at the Olympia. And you're given multiple camera guys, multiple hours, and multiple talent, and multiple ways to organize the talent in whichever way you see fit, right?
Yeah.
And right away at the very beginning, right beside the set, is the all American, all world, loudest Zumba class you have ever seen in your life. And I'm not joking. I'm telling you, the World Zumba Association was the next door neighbor of the arm wrestling.
Dude, did you watch Arm Wars? They had a similar problem.
Wow. I'm not joking. So I walked over to the Zumba and they had a big ass schedule. 9 a.m. to 9:15, they had the class. 9:25 to 9:40, they had another class. So every 15 minutes, they'd have 15-minute class, 10-minute break. Brand new people, 15-minute class, 10-minute break. Now,
okay, hold on. Hold on. Saeed, you are jumping ahead. You just got done telling me this was a disaster and an event, but then you start bringing up Zumba, which is out of our control.
You're right, but it also puts you in such a predicament that you can't concentrate. I'm telling you,
but that is
Motley. Go ahead.
But is that Marvin Cohen's fault or the producer's fault of Zumba?
It's the producer's fault. So is Marvin the producer? Who is the producer? I do not know.
Were you there? Were you paid to be there?
Excuse me?
Were you paid to be there? Like, were you one of the talent? Like,
I was paid. I got a plane ticket sent to my email, and I told them what my demands were clearly, and
which is what?
Excuse me?
What were your demands?
My demands were $1,500 a day. I must be paid before I work.
Okay, here's my understanding of, and I got this from Rebecca Todd. Her Facebook post said, like, hey, this could have been organized better, but everyone came together and then we kind of pulled it off. It was like everyone else at the event had to come together and make up for the shortcomings of everyone else. And that sounds like, it's like you're when you're throwing all this money at this arm wrestling tournament and then you're spending on charity of the arm wrestlers there to like save the day. Is that what happened?
I mean, I wouldn't say save the day. I would imagine that Rebecca and Michael were paid correctly. I would imagine that Devin was paid. I know that James Reed was finally paid right before he worked that Saturday morning. Scott Wynn is probably still waiting for his check, but I think he'll get it. So I'm telling you that it wasn't properly staffed from the top, and then where it was supposed to be staffed, there was no confidence in that person to staff it correctly because they wasn't sure. Scott wasn't sure that he could not only, I'm sure Scott could staff it correctly, he just couldn't do it with a good conscience and know that the staff was going to get paid.
Okay, I want to give this little analogy. Every once in a while in the movie industry, there's contracts that, like, if you don't make a movie by a certain date, then you lose the franchise. And if a movie production company is not ready to actually make the movie, they'll push through like a shitty version of it. They don't care about it. They don't care about the production. They don't care about the script.
I was screaming in the back of my head that this was a production company spending a big chunk of money on a project that will never see the light of day. But
that's what I'm wondering.
Usually you don't get to the prize money factor either. Because I'm telling you, they have no product. And we've already seen all the matches already online.
Okay. That's what I was getting at. Did anyone putting this together care about actually how many people showed up, how stacked the classes were, what quality of the television was going to be made from this? Like,
no, listen, I have been around 15 production crews, at least. probably 50, but 15 real ones, right? And this was by far the worst production I have ever seen in my entire life.
Who was filming it for TV?
They had a name. I don't know. The leader was named as Salim or some shit. And yeah, you couldn't get any worse. The only way that this show could possibly make it is if they were making another show on how you would punk the entire arm wrestling community into acting like there was really an NBC rated show. I mean, first of all, we've been around TV a little bit in the sense that you just can't wear whatever you want on set, right? Every single logo in the history of the world was displayed at this place. Now, maybe they don't have to worry about it for the first time in the history of the world. NBC is going to. That's what
I'm saying. So I am talking to all these guys on Tuesday night, Uncle John included, and they're like, why are you being so hard on these guys? Like, they're going to be on NBC. And I'm like, does no one smell something weird?
Well, here's the thing. I believe that the scenario that we have decided that is the reality, and this is just something to make everybody sleep good at night, except for the production company. Okay. And we don't know who the production company is. So as an arm wrestling community, if we want all of our people to be able to sleep, then we have to blame everything on the production company. But from the arm wrestling standpoint, those arm wrestlers came there, they competed, and if they get paid, which it looks like they are, then this is a positive, tremendous thing for every single person except for the investor of the production company. You see the little man there getting off the bed behind you?
Yeah, that's my boy.
All right, let's make it.
Mom's in charge. Okay, so I have to read some super chats because I forgot about them. Travis making some super chat money. Jeremy James, $2 super chat. Looking forward to Travis returning in a real match. When will we see Travis in a real?
You're going to see me pull against Cody Merritt here in the next 3 to 7 months, depending on when we can get it all lined up. But before last weekend, I thought that I was way better than Cody Merritt. But he does look a little different. I was wondering why I didn't see you arm wrestling. I can't imagine. Well, you didn't see me arm wrestling because that was on Saturday, and I was only going to work on Friday so that I could get home and watch the football game on Saturday.
Yeah, and congrats to the dude. Your kids look like they're crushed. I mean, I feel like you keep posting
new Division 2 polls have just came out, and we are 5th in the country. Number 5.
When you post your son's stats, I mean, dude, you can't get any better than that. Those numbers are legit, bro.
5 touchdowns every game.
Oh my God. OMG. OMG. Hey, Marsh Arm Wrestling, $5 super chat. Travis, thank you for all you've done for the sport.
Finally, a real arm wrestling fan. I've been looking for one of them guys.
And Ants Gonzo 845 just stopped by to say, what's up, Travis and Gary? You guys are the realest. Thank you very much, Ants Gonzo 845. Okay, so in the chance that Marvin Cohen continues to get money to be given to him, my God,
impossible.
He said on Uncle John's show that that they're working on $100,000 first prize.
Listen, the first day that I met Marvin, he was working on $100,000 thing. The very first day I met him. So it does not matter at all what he says. It does not matter. What he is saying, he firmly believes. I'll tell you, the arm wrestling world, train for yourself. Do not train for arm wrestling prize money that does not have realistic production. All you had to do was be there and see how the finals was rushed in about 5 minutes. They just ran them all with no introductions, no nothing. There's no way, absolutely impossible that
No
could
B-roll.
be put together. Excuse me?
No B-roll. No.
Oh, yeah. All kinds of B-roll because, Marvin sold them on 5 1-hour episodes. 5 1-hour episodes. So they got B-roll, crazy B-roll. Hey,
Okay,
listen, I didn't think that they were going to get paid. The fact that they got paid, that means strike 1 for Travis. Strike 2 and strike 3 could be that post-production is a godsend and it's like perfect. And then, of course, last but not least would be that you actually play the 5 episodes. And during the 5 episodes, you receive the commercial space and you're able to sell that commercial space for more money than you spent to actually have the 5 events or the 5 shows.
Jeremy James
I'm telling
says,
you right now, it's not happening.
I mean, I've seen it. I'm a geek. I'm a TV movie making production geek. And I've seen great shows get canned, great shows not air in all sorts of environments. I mean,
we understand the scenario of the correct sponsor, the correct business buying the commercial time for a one-off show, meaning that every time that you've paid for NBC to play that show, which we probably bought to where it shows 3 times, right? And so 15 shows, right? If you have 5 shows and they all play 3 times with your $40,000 per hour that you bought, right? Now we know how that works in the way that NBC will not let just any company. Are you good? I'm saying NBC won't let just any company get those commercials, right? Like if they have a deal with Coca-Cola, Pepsi's not getting it, right? So to even try to find the correct pieces that could buy the commercials and actually pay top dollar, knowing that NBC, it's a time buy. So they're not going to put you at the height of the time slots. And if they do, they're not going to let any of their partners buy your commercials because their partners already have money that NBC distributes wherever it needs to be. If the show's good, NBC will replay it, but they'll then use their own commercials. So the really only way to truly produce is for the arm wrestling sponsor and the business to be in the show. It can't just be a commercial. It has to be on Michael Todd's clothing, on Dave Chafee, which none of that was done.
And you brought up you brought up a great point regarding the logos. I mean, you've got to go in and blur all that stuff out.
Every other producer has lied to us since we started this thing, or Marvin's got 700 logos on his show,
Jeremy James says Arden posted his $4,000 check. So checks are arriving, which makes it even more bizarre because I was just annoyed at the lack of effort in promoting this, because as a guy who, you're the same, you want great arm wrestling. You want people to come, you want it to be awesome.
And the whole excuse that you didn't want many people, well, then you should have switched it to a super match format or an invitee format.
Yes.
Don't give me that bullshit. It's just not true.
How it goes back to what you were saying about the $2 million. How do you spend $2 million in arm wrestling and not, God, to think of what you could do with that if you really loved and cared about the product and like want longevity, like that kind of money just being blown on he said the thing I disagree with is I got the NFL guys paid and not the arm wrestlers paid, which I thought, that was interesting. So the NFL stars actually got.
No, let's be honest about the position Marvin was in and is currently in. He can't even get the arm wrestlers to not pay him when it comes to the magnitude that he wanted with those football players. Like he wanted, like we paid 36 of those guys, $10,000 to $20,000 in order to come there and do that. Yeah. And he was hoping the publicity from the actual NFL, which he got. The NFL guys got in trouble for competing and come to Vegas. It was national news. Some things work, but the fact is if you spend $2 million on a TV show in which you are purchasing the time buy to the network, you're going to lose. The only way to make this happen is for this huge network to give you $2 million per episode for one.
So it wasn't. It was a calculated risk by getting all these NFL guys. I mean, there was an end goal. He wasn't just blowing
Marvin's key selling point to any investor is, hey, listen, let's do it real big. We'll make the show so big that the sponsors will come. But most importantly, don't worry about anything. I will sell the ads for you during the commercial space. And what I've learned to find out is no commercial ever gets sold. And when it does, it gets sold pennies on the dollar. So even when the investor has a great product, a great show, he has spent too much on it in order to recoup from the commercial space.
Yeah, at the end of the day, somebody has to sell the commercials.
Well, I remember that, the commercials would also are being falsely advertised about their work.
Yeah, I remember John.
It's always the numbers that Marvin would give you from the Super Bowl that was on NBC, and then tell you that that's what people buy commercial space for on NBC. When the truth is, it's not accurate at all.
Yeah,
but I don't think this was an investor hoax, more of a production mismanagement of funds.
Who funded it?
Whoever the production is, and I don't know who it is.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, I did a reality show in Kansas City with Don Underwood and Bill Logsdon, not the Game of Arms, another pilot thing. I think it was, I can't remember what name they had, but it was all about calling people out. And it was a really weird concept. But the truth is they brought a bunch of us out to Kansas City for the week, and we filmed with all kinds of cameras and shit, and it never panned out. So I'm with you that production companies throw out feelers and they spend a couple $100,000 and it never really comes to fruition.
Yeah, I had a production company come to my house and they were like, we filmed a practice with Alan Fisher and they were going to make a little teaser reel and then they were going to try to sell it on the bigger idea. It's like, oh, we're going to get on television. No, we're just making like, dude.
Which here's the thing. The worst thing would be is that we got on television and were misdirected and misproduced. Now, that's just would just keep any legitimate, because listen, anybody else except Marvin would have spent that money better and differently. And you know what I mean? Like, that's a fact. So if his method of selling it and producing it that way has to be done in order to create the chaos, in order to take the bag out the back door, then hey, my applause to you. But if you're legitimately telling me that you're the answer, I find it very hard to believe. And I would be very concerned when the checks get bigger that they still are coming a couple weeks after the event. Because at some point, someone always pulls the plug on the finances.
The thing that was interesting to me is I heard Michael Todd say, if we had like 20 more arm wrestlers show up, we would not have been able to finish the show.
That is true.
I'm like,
well, that's because they did a terrible job of running the event because they didn't have the proper resources. I mean, James Reed, is as great as he is, cannot just sit up there with a laptop and a microphone and with the fucking World Zumba Association right behind him. It's almost impossible to function. Then you're working with a bunch of amateurs. You're working with amateurs on sound. You're working with amateurs on their professional, because they wanted the live guy to call the names to the stage, but then they wanted the commentary to come from the pro guys. So at the first day, you got amateurs and then 2 pro people, one of them a Playmate of the Year, the other a MMA guy, and in the middle is Michael Todd or Devin, and they're not familiar with the amateur arm wrestlers that are on the stage. So, and then you got Zumba right behind them. So you're just dealing with a chaotic, very unfortunate situation, which I'm just wondering if I'm working that event, as soon as you show me where I'm seated, I'm looking at the map and I'm trying to figure out, hey, well, man, we're trying to make a TV show over here. You have to put us in the corner and separate us from the 3 booths that are going to be blaring music beyond control.
Yeah, listen, this is a learning curve here for anyone out there who wants to use like the Arnolds and Olympia. Dude, you've got to be aware if you're next to the dance studios, man, you cannot produce a TV show with because they're blaring copyrighted music loud. Okay, get back to the Zumba story. So what is your role? Were you paid to go be?
So my role is to come down there on late Thursday night, and then on Friday, do some live hype for the event, which, because it was so terribly produced, there was no set, right? All it was set up. All day Friday, all we did was set up, right? There was no action. There was only 15 arm wrestlers showed up for the amateurs and the women total. So I got
how much?
Say it again.
How many arm wrestlers showed up for the
There
women?
was 15 total because it was a Friday in the morning when they just found out 3 days before that there was an actual tournament. So it was almost impossible. There was supposed to be, and just like the big long flyer, there was supposed to be, military and amateurs and masters and all this shit, which is nothing but just the same flyer that I've seen for the last 10 years that comes out of that camp.
My God. Did anyone say why this was rushed through and promoted with just a few weeks?
No. No one could rationally answer it except for Marvin saying, we don't want anybody. It's, and then there was it was promoted. Wait,
Marvin said.
Well, Marvin said that after he gets mad. After he gets mad about you saying, hey, Marvin, who the fuck is in charge? How come you did it so fucking terrible? Then he's like, oh, what are you talking about? The arm wrestling world doesn't know anything. I gave away $1 million in 1985. That's what he does. So, and then, so you can get no answers from him at all. But the thing is you already know that if there was anybody rationally started dotting the I's and crossing the T's, it would probably bring up definitely operational problems and mismanagement of funds. You would imagine. Yeah. So
Here's the deal.
Really,
I am glad
really
if arm wrestlers get paid, that's amazing. But I cannot. This sounds like the biggest waste of opportunity, like of all time. I mean,
of all time. It'd be hard to do it. It's hard to do it worse.
Okay, get to the Zumba. Get to the Zumba.
Listen to this. I'm telling you no lie. Now, I was drinking heavily down there and laughing a lot, right? Like first of all, let me do some self-evaluating here and let you know where my brain is. If I'm not in charge, then I am an absolute crybaby, negative Nancy type guy right away. And then, I mean, immediately I'm going to be, you know, kind of like wondering why everyone's doing anything, right? Like I'm not going to be happy about it. And then you throw that on the fact that there's like 10 people making more money than me at this event, right?
Yeah.
So I'm already like disgusted, right? Then I get there.
And how do you know that? How do you know that you're 10th on the list?
Because I have heard everyone talking, and I have actually, you know, I was offered the big job 5, 6, 8 months ago, a year ago. And once again, after 10 times.
For this event?
Yeah, for every event Marvin has. He always calls me first.
Marvin knew about this event 8 months ago?
Well, we tried to do it right in the height of COVID. And I was telling him, I'm like, Marvin, it's impossible to do anything right now in the height of this COVID shit. And then he's like, no, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Can we give him a bottle? Can we give him a bottle? No, we got to make one. Okay. Holy buckets. Yeah, Imran, Zakir, we're getting to that story.
All right.
Okay, shoot. So he's trying to do it at the height of COVID.
Yeah, so he hits me up. You know, he hits me up 2 years ago. Hey, we're going to do something. I'm like, yeah, well, let's do it. Then COVID hits. And I'm like, yeah, forget about it. Then like right at the height of it, I mean, you couldn't fucking be any more impossible to do something. He like plans this thing like a week later. And I'm like, Marvin, it ain't going to happen. He's like, well, finally he calls me and it's like, oh. And I told him, I'm like, listen, I'm going to buy this plane ticket. Are you sure? You know, so finally it doesn't happen. So now I call him. I said, listen, man, do not call me don't even call me if you got the money. Don't ever call me. Right. Yeah. So we've been arguing about that conversation for now a year and a half. So I knew that he knew that I wasn't going to accept the job. And I knew that there was, you know, what is the percentage of it happening? Right. So I get down there only to work with Scott. And I'll be damned if it all doesn't fall apart on Friday night where, you know, Scott Wynn, Devin, Scott Wynn, Devin, Cobra, they get the phone call from the producer saying that Marvin promised them a lot of stuff that didn't take place and that it's more or less over. So I'm laughing my ass off.
Wait, slow down. You're saying Friday night there were signs that
on Friday night it was canceled for about 2 hours. Now let that sink in. Yeah, let that sink in. And I mean, it was just hilarious. The whole thing was crazy, man.
I gotta make a bottle for my kid. Okay. So Friday night, because you're not in charge, you're laughing.
I'm laughing because I have been working there or trying to work all day Friday, and it was absolutely horrid, right? Everybody who was supposed to already get paid is still struggling to get paid. And finally, you know, I come outside and Devin and them are on this conference call, and Marvin has left to Las Vegas for the Wilder fight, and they're not sure if anybody's going to be there in the morning.
What? Oh my God, I had no idea.
Crazy, man. So and then the next day I go in there in the morning.
What are some hold on, what are some specifics that the production company said didn't happen?
I didn't hear any specifics. All I know is there was a main producer guy named Salim or some shit, and he was on the phone with Cobra and Devin, more or less telling them that shit was not looking good.
Devin and Michael, they didn't do anything publicly. They didn't say anything like that, right?
No, nothing was said, but
We
this
didn't
was like
hear about
11 o'clock at night. It was crazy late. So I left there back to the hotel room thinking and laughing, thinking that I'll be damned if Marvin didn't do it again. You know, like this crazy ass dude, which no one can fathom. What's up, playa? That
he wants his butt up.
that could happen. So that's another reason. And of course, we were all drinking and having fun. So the laughter was just out of control.
Okay. Wow. Holy buckets. So what? Dude, how come I couldn't see this on social media? Nowhere on social media did I see that this event almost didn't happen.
Well, I don't know if it almost didn't happen or that there was just this brief thing where the producer was just trying to let everybody know that, hey, you know, we're not out of the water yet, which was still just amazing because everyone kind of thought that there was a potential problem. You know what I mean? So it was just so awkward, so strange. And then, you know, you're laughing, but you really think about the way you'd feel if you needed the money and that you were paid to do this job. So it's, you know, it's weird that way too.
Well, I'm just shocked that the social media is like, hey man, Marvin's trying to do a good thing. This is going to be on television. You know, quit your, you know, don't look at the details. Like, and I'm like, for the first time, honestly, from 2003 to 2012, I was always in a position where I kind of had to, you kind of had to,
Yeah, but
use a vulgar term, but
no one had any authority there. It was awkward, very awkward.
But when you're okay, I'll use CrossFit as an example. One time I turned in a video where somebody was talking about, oh, somebody got hurt, and Sevan was like, yeah, we can't really say that. Like, you got to protect the brand. So we, it was just like, you work for CrossFit, so you have to protect the brand. So you cut out the little thing that could possibly, be an interesting topic. Like safety is an interesting.
That's the thing. For anyone to bust Marvin out during the weekend, they're busting themselves out. Because anybody who tried to say, hey, can you believe that I didn't get paid? There was going to be the Justin Bishops and the Ron Bass of the world. We're going to be like, well, yeah, you jackass. We already told you that this was going to happen. So I could see it on Devin's face. I could see it on Cobra's face. They all wanted it to happen. And the fact that it wasn't as funny to them that it wasn't happening because they were a part of it.
Yeah. Okay. So Zumba, what's happening? You're there.
I'm there. The guy's like, hey, let's do some hype stuff. And I'm looking around like, dude, you don't have anything to do any hype stuff with. So I finally found another stage that was an Olympia stage where they would do different things. And I went up and I talked to the guy about us using their stage. And I did maybe two half-hour skits on that stage with Michael, Todd, and Devin, similar to my whole Cooper Tire, challenging the public. And it was a success. It was a big enough success that the guy that paid me thought I was really good.
Yeah.
At that point, you know what I mean? But the truth
when you say the guy that paid you, is this the same guys
that's this guy Salim, who I feel is the producer.
And is he the one cutting everyone checks?
Yeah. He's the guy. He was the guy in charge and acting like he was the money guy, but really he was the production team manager, the boss of the production.
Okay, go on. So he liked what you were doing.
Well, yeah. Because there was a fiasco in getting paid. Like, I've got my book bag on. I'm ready to go home on Friday as soon as I don't get paid. So I'm not working until I get paid. So the guy's like, oh, well, you need a W-9. Well, I pulled it right out of my back pocket. Here you go. Because I already heard that he was saying that to other people. So I already gave it to him. And then he's like, okay, well, you trust me, right? I'll pay you tonight. I'm like, no, sir. I do not. It ain't that I don't trust you. I'm not going to put myself in a position where then I got to fuck you up. Do you understand? So
you
I'm
knew.
sit here with my book bag. I do not mind at all if it doesn't work out. So he waited 20 minutes and then, he's, come on, man, I don't believe you don't trust me. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's a fucked up world, man. I don't know what to tell you.
No way.
He's like, well, how much is it? I told him it's $1,500 a day. He's like, well, I'll pay you for today. I'm like, well, that works for me, right? Because I know that I'm not working tomorrow anyway. There's no amount of money you can pay me to work on Saturday because I'm going to fuck home to watch this football game. But I will do this Friday work for you, and I will get everyone ready, meaning I can, show Scott and James exactly what they need to do at 9 a.m. before I get on the flight. Like I can help out. But the most important thing is you're here at the Olympia. You told them you were going to do 2 days. And as of today, you don't have nothing going on. I can help you if you need it. Yeah. So he reluctantly gives me the $1,500.
Okay, wait, pause. Are you saying that it was such a disaster that he recognized, like, we got to do something? And he's like, I'm going to pay Travis.
100%.
I'm going to pay Travis to try to save this evening here because so far nothing's happening.
Not evening, save the morning and the afternoon. This is 9 o'clock in the morning.
And are they filming you like that would be part of the television show?
Yes, it would be part of the B-roll. Yeah.
Okay.
So he pays me, cash apps me. I get the microphone. I find the new stage. I start setting up a couple skits. I get all those done. It's probably now 2 o'clock. And I go over and we sit down at the scores keep because we're going to run this 15-person tournament in these weight classes for the amateurs and the women. But there's a lot of, they need a lot more B-roll on the main stage. So we end up sitting there from about, say, 1:30 to 3:30, like this. Right? And each time they're like, all right, we're ready. You get ready to start. And they're like, oh, hold up, we got to do something else. Which it just showed how clearly and unbelievably terribly produced the thing was, right? So finally at 3:15, they're like, all right, let's start it. So I call 2 names up. They start to arm wrestle. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, and I get ready to say something. I get tapped on the shoulder and I say, hey, once you say the names, don't talk anymore, because right behind you, Michael Todd, the Playmate of the Year and some MMA guy, they're going to do the play-by-play. I'm like, all right. So, to the table, jackass and, dumbass, they get to the table. And then I don't say anything for a while. But then all of a sudden, when Michael Todd starts talking, because all of the microphones are too close together, it's like,
no.
So I'm fucking hitting, moving the shit, right? Get it far away, cut it off. They have their match. The next match comes up. I turn it on, turn it back off, look around. What the fuck's going on? Say a name. Cut it off. Michael Todd starts talking. All of a sudden, no, like crazy. Right?
No.
It's fucking wacko, right? So about 20 minutes into that, I looked at James Reed. It's like 4:30. I'm debating, right? I'm like, yo, this is a clusterfuck. So then I finally, after the last noise, turned the mic off, handed it to James Reed, got up, got my book bag, went around, told Paulie, yo, let's get out of here and go get some food, man. And we left. And my phone was blowing up the whole time saying, where are you at? Where are you at? And I was like, I can't fuck with these fucking idiots anymore, right? It's already been from 8:30 in the morning is when I got there. Now it's freaking 4:45. I'm out of there. I had 15 more minutes left and I quit, right? That night when I get over there and they're all complaining about how Marvin left and they don't know if they're going to get paid and all of this. One of them tells me, they're like, yeah. And the one guy said you stole his microphone and the microphone cost $20,000. Right?
What?
So I was like, what? They're like, yeah. he told everyone in a production meeting that you quit on them and you stole the microphone. So I was like, what? So I go there the next morning and I'm like, I see the dude. I'm like, yo, bro, why did you say I stole the microphone? Oh, you did. You stole the microphone. It cost 20 grand. I'm like, yo, my man, if you say that again, I'm going to punch you in your face if you say that again. And then this guy comes over and is like, oh, no, we found the microphone. It wasn't him. I'm like, you motherfuckers really like going around and telling these people that I stole some 20. First of all, is there a microphone that costs $20,000 in this world?
I mean, I don't know one.
The motherfucker's gold plated or something. So I thought that was really funny. So Cobra told me, he's like, oh man, they're going to kick you off the set if you stole that microphone. So that was when I came in there that morning. That's the funniest thing that I was kind of hearing at 9 o'clock. And then, of course, they found the microphone. So I guess it wasn't that big a deal.
Okay, hold that thought. Aussie arm wrestler, $3 super chat. Good to see Beauty and the Beast is back. Ready, bang. I don't know if we're back. Traps decided to presence us with some of his greatness.
Definitely not back.
Okay, so Saturday morning, you were going in there to work? I thought you were leaving.
No. I had a 11:45 flight, so everybody had to be there at 8:30. So I just went with the guys from the hotel, and then I was going to Uber from there. But the biggest reason I went there is because when I went to the house the night before, they said I stole the microphone. I told you that's what the guy said. So I wanted to laugh and get there and make sure that I had a conversation with the guy. But the guy did tell me he was mad that I left before 5 o'clock, which I told him that I was mad that he had the worst produced fucking event in the history of the world. And that I am in
You told him that. You told him that.
Dude. I told that guy, Salim, that if he said that I stole a microphone, that I was going to fuck him up right there at the Mr. Olympia in front of his whole cast.
Brad Cook says 20,000 microphone. That doesn't fight off feedback. Whack.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it was, listen, Brad Cook would have been so disgusted. Like I was with Brad Cook at the Fallen Heroes or whatever that tournament was out in Kansas City. And he was beside himself that there was too many people on that stage. If he would have been at this clusterfuck of a Mr. Olympia with this Zumba, I mean, the Zumba was in your soul. It was so loud. It was so loud.
In your soul. Zumba arm wrestling in your soul.
I mean, you just couldn't help but just look at them like these fucking people are still doing Zumba at this rate. Like it was crazy.
Okay, so I heard on Facebook or somewhere that you got escorted off property. What is going on with this?
That is the most funniest, ridiculous thing ever. Yeah.
Didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
Somebody in the comments said you went over and started a fight with Zumba. They made this up.
That is an outright lie. I didn't start no fight with Zumba.
What? Oh my God. You can't believe anything you read on the internet.
Somebody should have fought Zumba though, motherfuckers.
Wait, see, this whole time I was waiting for you to say, and I went over and I told Zumba I teared out their microphones.
No, sir.
What? Whoever in the Zumba chat on Tuesday night or wherever on Facebook said you got escorted off property.
That's what Cobra started that. Saying
they said the producers escorted you off property.
Well, no. Now listen, the producer was the guy that I did tell him that I was going to whip his fucking ass, but he didn't say. That's because he knew that he knew that I didn't take that microphone. What the fuck is he talking about? That's what Cobra said. Cobra said, "Hey, you're not allowed on set because you stole the microphone." And he kept
I got you. Okay. So, it looks like guys are getting paid. We've agreed this is the craziest way to produce an event, but whoever's cutting the checks.
But I mean, listen, the arm wrestling was fucking. There was bad dudes there, dude. and it was the Mr. Olympia is a great place to have a tournament because it's the Arnold condensed into something that is actually doable. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you mean something that's actually doable?
I mean, the Arnold
what's wrong with the Arnold?
So big that it would be hard to have a tournament on the show floor.
Right. I always figured you just have it at a booth.
Well, that's what I mean. But imagine how hard it would be at the Arnold to have it at a booth.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's get to you. Okay, I want to segue because the last time we hung out, you had an amazing event where John Brzenk was arm wrestling Chance Shaw. It went viral, 10 different channels. That's like 500,000 views between all the different channels, and it's like hot. The formula was hot, popping. You had the regular event leading into the ROTN finals, and then you had the super match at the end. But then you called me up and you said, boom, how about we do another tournament and the winner, or Paul Linn, who was the winner, arm wrestles John Brzenk. It's beautiful. And I was like, that's a great idea. And then boom, that's this weekend.
Yep, this weekend coming. Paul
What's
Linn,
interesting? What's interesting to me is that when you had that last event, John Brzenk was not a YouTuber. And now
he saw the light.
John Brzenk is a YouTuber.
And
is this
he's
something
excited? Extremely excited about the finances.
Have you ever thought that he would ever do this? Ever?
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, yeah.
Really?
Well, only because of like he's not a dummy technically either. Like the fucking dude's not scared to like buy a camera and read the instruction manual. Like I could never do that. I would never ever be able to buy that camera and set it up so that I could actually do a video.
When I watch John Brzenk, I think, well, this is what Travis should have done. Travis should have done
Right.
this.
I got you. Yeah. I don't
Like-
hey, I'm only on 10%. Just to let
Okay,
you know.
well, okay. So nowhere could you do what John is doing.
I'm
Give us-
not. Yeah, I'm not that interested. Yeah, you know what? That ain't. I am not good at it. I'm not interested in it, and it's not my thing.
It's
As much as it, as much as it probably should be, I still to this day cannot imagine turning this phone on without having you here to talk to.
It's amazing to me how well he's doing with it.
Wow.
And it's fun to watch him learn it.
Well, he's not dumb at all. He's not dumb. That's the truth.
I know, but something about the greatest of arm wrestler of all time trying to learn how to become a YouTuber simultaneously, and we see this peek into his.
Yeah, but I bet you if you went through his life and you were actually documenting it, you would see him get super interested in different things. Like the dude was involved in them off-road Jeeps. And then I'm talking to guys who are saying, yeah, John's like the fucking craziest one out of all of us. And he just started because that's just the way he is. It's the way a lot of great people are like that. Dave Patton's like that. Got into jujitsu all the way to the top.
Did you watch, like, he put up a behind the scenes?
No, I don't watch
him and Dimitri. You watched him and Dimitri arm wrestle.
I did watch the match.
And what'd you think?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. I thought Dimitri looked like he had him. Just shows John's arm strong. His hands a little. I don't know if his hand's suspect or him trying to fight with other people's hands instead of just driving them in a hook, maybe. But he definitely has got himself into some compromised positions with Chance Shaw and Dimitri. And I'm worried too that he's going to get there with Paul Linn too.
But when you say that, that's just good for views. John Brzenk getting. I mean, John Brzenk should get every match. He should get that close. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah,
like
well,
that's to me, that's the formula.
Yeah, everyone's a John Brzenk fan, so I agree.
I mean, if I could lead John Brzenk any direction, I would say no matter who you arm wrestle, almost lose every time and come back. It's like you will have your views and subs will skyrocket to a degree than if you just whip ass. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
would you say, John, if you watch John with Shaw and then you watch John with Dimitri, did you see any difference in John Brzenk in terms of the, now he hadn't been training that long for a chance. Now Dimitri, now here he's been at it. Would you?
Yeah, I didn't see much difference at all. I just see that he's just got so much war in him. Like he had a lot more than he even displayed. So the fact is it's gonna be hard to beat him 3 times. I mean, he's got a lot.
I will go on the record and say that I have yet to watch any of Paul Linn breakdown of this match, or really anybody for that matter. And because I've been on the road, I haven't even heard John talking about it. John and Paul Linn are arm wrestling this weekend. What say you?
I say John Brzenk wins, but I am worried about Paul Linn. I'm worried about I'm worried about his profession, the fact that he is a high school football coach and he has coached tremendous athletes, and he has, attempted to inspire them to do things that are greater than what they can see. So I know that he now has to kind of walk the walk. And I remember being in that position where I'm trying to coach and mentor, and now I'm looking in the mirror saying, hey, you got to practice what you preach. Don't act like a pussy now. Like, let's go. So I think that he's going to take all that with him. I think he's going to be tremendously prepared. I think he's going to be, 230 pounds, which is a Paul Linn that none of us even know. I practiced with him, and he's super tenacious. He's a very selfish, guy when it comes to the strap and the setup, and he's unwilling to compromise. He is willing to bend the rules in his favor, whatever it takes. So all of that stuff scares me. And with that, I think John's going to win.
So that night we had an amazing crowd, but that was amazing with neither arm wrestlers being local. Paul Linn is not that far away, and he has a huge fan base. Can you one up that event?
I don't know. I can't imagine it'll be bigger than last time. I think we had 117 or 100. I know it was a 7, either 117 or 127 pullers, which equated into 250 entries. So
I feel like Paul Linn will bring out fans too, not just entries.
No doubt. The only problem is we're in Hillsborough, Virginia now, about 25 minutes from my house, as opposed to 1 minute from my house, and having all my local people.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. But the place where we're having it is so freaking busy anyway. There's going to be a shitload of people, a lot of people. And it's a very beautiful venue.
Adam, $5 super chat. He says, buy Travis a phone charger. You told me you were charged up, ready to go.
I thought I was, but I was sleeping, and my daughter took the phone and went upstairs and started playing videos, I guess.
So for anyone else out there watching, what time's the event popping off? Who else?
So
invite people. Tell them.
If you're coming to arm wrestle, you got to be there. I think you can weigh in Friday night in Martinsburg from like 9 to 11 at night. And then you can, at the event from 2 to 4, you can weigh in. The event starts at 5 o'clock. It will be over at 8 o'clock. And we will start we'll hand out all the awards, and we'll start that John Brzenk super match card, which will have 4, 2 out of 3 matches before we get to the John Brzenk match.
How do you have an event in 3 hours?
It's easy. All you have to do is have 4 tables with 4 different scorekeepers and 4
You're having 4 tables?
4 tables, 4 scorekeepers, 4 mic guys.
I'll I have an arm wrestling match with 98% Ryan Grondin. Are you going to try to keep me from arm wrestling this guy? Do I have to go out to the parking lot and arm wrestle him? When do I get a arm wrestle? It's the
I
worst
thought
arm
that match
wrestlers.
was canceled. I thought we canceled that match.
It's the worst arm wrestlers in the world going at it. Rain or shine. Travis supported or not Travis supported.
It will not be Travis supported.
You're not going to let me go up on that stage and arm wrestle.
What stage?
Right
The
before the
stage where
kids,
John
whatever.
Brzenk and Paul-
Let me,
The stage where John Brzenk and Paul Linn are going to be?
dude, you know I'm going to get more clicks if you make us go out to the parking lot. I'm just saying,
That's
don't
why I'm
make
going
me
for
create.
y'all.
All right, don't make me create
No, I
a
guess
scene.
I would figure we'll just kick it off with you guys right there at 5
Okay,
o'clock.
first
4 o'clock.
match,
Yeah.
5 o'clock. It'll be really quick.
4:45. Let's do it at 4:45.
4:45. Dunzo. All right, Travis. Everyone, join us. Saturday night, I'll be riding. Friday night, be pretty late. But Saturday, and your son's got a football game. I get to
Oh,
watch.
yeah. I'm going to let all you guys know. Shepherd College plays Westchester, 12 noon at Shepherd University. You're all invited. I'm going to put a little post out, but he plays at 12 o'clock. The game will be over at 2:33. You have plenty of time to get up there, and you might have to leave a little early to go weigh in. But we'll be there. Me and John Brzenk will be there watching the game.
All right, dude. Looking forward to hanging out. Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye. For you guys, someone said, hey, talk about Levon. Like, sorry, it'll be another day. We had a lot to talk about tonight. All right, guys, thank you very much. I thought it was Tuesday night. This was going to be my ARM TV call-in show that I was going to have Travis on, but I've been on the road and I totally got it wrong. But Travis said, we are not going live on ARM TV channel. We are going live on my channel. So Travis forced us over here to Travis Bagent Unfiltered, which no message from me to you, Travis. Start putting up more content. Anyways, I didn't know John Brzenk was live this whole time. If you guys want to rewind back, we have some cool behind the scenes on the Travis gives us his take on the Mr. Olympia from the past weekend. Some funny stuff there. And anyways, if you guys are coming out to the event this weekend with John Brzenk and Paul Linn, Gary Roberts, ARM TV, we'll be there. Look forward to hanging out with y'all. And that's it. Good night. Peace out.